Okay, guys, welcome to one of, I guess, hopefully a few or many um, lives. Basically, I get a lot of questions, and the questions are um, kind of the same thing. Each time I get a bunch of questions. So for those who are on my Instagram, you want to go to, Seaver, you want to go to my YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube, I guess, if you're at home, and you'll be able to see my actual presentation. And if you're not on that, it's okay. You can still learn from what's going on here. All right. So, all right. Well, it's my first time doing it, so get used to it. And if I have any mistakes, I will try to correct them as best as possible. So here's how it's going to work. On my YouTube channel, I have a track talk, and it's a presentation. So for those who are on that now, here we go. All right. So first, we're going to be covering who I am, answering 3 key FAQs, and also your live questions. So let me see if I can pull up that option real quick. One second. I hope I'm online. This is not working. Is everyone in this? All right. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. Make sure I have it set. Oh, sorry about that. So that's what that is. I can go face to face with people? Yeah. Oh, okay. I'll be in your face. All right. I think I deleted. Hope I didn't delete it. Am I live still? Guys, give me 1 second. Sorry about that. That's still there. I'm not sure if I'm live still. Let me try this. All right, so I'm good. Okay, sorry about that. For those who were waiting, I apologize. All right, so the introduction. Basically, I'm going to go through, who I am, the FAQs, and answer your live questions. So for me, basically, my myself as an athlete and also a coach. Now, when it came to high school, I didn't join track until high school. Didn't know what was going on, and then I just basically just did whatever the coaches told me to do. And then from there, I got to junior college. I did really well, and that's where I learned all the basics of track and field. I learned the training. I learned weight training. I learned the science of the actual sport. Then I got to the university level, and that was really good. I was under Sheila Hudson, where I learned a lot of specifics on, mentality, what to expect, advanced training. I learned a lot of technical aspects of the actual triple jump and also hurdles. I was recruited to college as a hurdler, and triple jump is what I continued with. And then as a pro, basically it was just amazing because I was training myself at that time. I utilized all of my learnings from all the coaches that I had and put together a great program. And it was really fun. I was ranked in the U.S. and ranked in the world at one time, and I learned a lot of things, and I actually had to apply a lot of things, but also becoming accountable and teaching myself these things, and trying it and failing and being successful. It was really fun. Now, as a coach, I started as a personal trainer, and I went into just learning all the personal training stuff, with teaching mechanical movements, teaching just all the basic stuff of the trainer. And then I went into the franchise training, which is basically like a Velocity or Athletic Republic, where these sports performance type of places that are designed for athlete training. And that was really fun, and I learned a lot of things during that time. And then from there, as a coach, and I say the coach again, is because the trainer aspect and the franchise trainer aspect, they all come together. Because when you're a coach, you're not just coaching them on how to get better. You're doing things on motivation, motivational speaking. You're doing things like, you're a counselor. You are teaching them how to do certain things. You're training them. You're helping them become more flexible. You're basically all in one, and it's more direct. And especially if you're in coaching high school, I mean, you have an athlete for 4 years, so you're basically their role model, their figure that they look up to. You're an authority, so it's just way more than just get in shape, lose weight, or jump far. It's a lot more than that. And so that's my background. But my focus now is to teach athletes how to become more, and how to expect more, and how to get so much more done. Now, the first FAQ, or understanding FAQs, the questions that I get asked all the time, frequently asked questions. Well, what I listen to, what are they really asking? And the first thing is the surface. Let's just say, hey, I want to get better. What do I do? Well, the surface is just that. What should you do to get better? And then the source of that question is coming from this athlete doesn't know what to do. This now comes to you got to figure out what the actual source is, where it's coming from, because you may realize I can't actually get you better until we fix the source. Maybe it's, hey, I want to jump far, and you have no knees. So if I knew that you had no knees, I can't just give you a workout for people that have knees. If you don't have knees, I can't do a lot of things because you don't literally have knees, right? And the last thing is that coaches typically forget all the time is to provide a solution. You have to be able to tell an athlete, here's your workout, this is how you do it, and be very specific. And the solution has to be able to cover the surface and the source. Many times, if you just cover the surface, as in, don't have any knees, here's your workout, that's great. They have the workout and they're trying to do the best they can within that workout. But if you also conquer the source, then you're set. But it's very important that you provide a solution for all sources. All right, so the first thing is, the questions I get are, I jump. This is one of the questions I had before. It was, I jump, 6 meters or 7 meters or 3 meters, whatever it is. And they ask, is that a good distance? And so the first thing is just that, like, is that distance good for, whatever age they're in? And if they're in, say, 7th grade and they jump 3 meters, one could argue and say, well, it's not as competitive. If you're looking to go pro in the sport, you might want to have better progressions and be at a certain distance by that time. But there's no real set distance. There's no real set distance for actually being good. If let's just say, say you're a high school girl, you're a sophomore, and you jump 12 feet. Is that good? 12 feet, I would say it's a starting point. and you want to get yourself upwards, if you're expecting to win state or CIF or win league, you're probably going to have to be around that 15-foot range or 16-foot range as a freshman. Um, but it doesn't mean that it's not good. It just means that you're starting somewhere. Myself, I long jumps, I don't even know, like 13 feet as an eighth grader, and that was it. But I ended up long jumping a lot further than that as I went on. Triple jump, my very first time I remember my freshman year, I jumped 38 feet 8 inches. That was my personal best, and I had no idea what I was doing. So was it good? Yes, it was good because I was jumping wrong, and jumping 38, almost 40 feet at that time as a freshman. Now, even in high school, I jumped 45.9, but I was actually jumping wrong. And it was still good because you can see the potential that I had. So the question really comes down to the source is you're asking other people, is what I'm doing good enough? And so the answer is you're always doing good enough. You're always doing a great job. If you have to ask that question of, am I doing good? Then that means you have some type of doubt within yourself and you're unsure. And so basically, that's what you are. You are unsure. And the main focus is you have to build your own confidence. Track and field is an event where if you win, it's your fault. If you lose, it's your fault. There's no one else to blame. You can't say, oh, well, I passed the ball to this athlete. This athlete shot it and they missed it. We lost the game. It's not their fault, but if I would have given them a better pass, if they would have made it, all these variables come into play. But with track and field, it's I did my best and I lost. But it's okay. I lost, but I did my best. I trained all season to do my best, and I competed. That person today was better than me. That's it. It's not a bad thing at all. So it's very important that you have better self-confidence in yourself. And when you're doing all your training, it's important to train with the intention to do the best you can. If you're not, if you're cutting corners, if you're working out hard on Mondays but not on Wednesdays, or the hard workouts you choose to not show up, or you claim that your hamstring hurts, all these things, it's like, don't come to a coach or don't go to a coach and say, coach, I want to be the greatest ever, and then not do workouts to your best ability. I don't mean go 110%. That's not what I'm talking about. I personally feel that you cannot go 110% because you don't have the extra 10%. But you do have 100% that you have available. So if I'm dead sick and I can't even move, and the workout today is very hard, I just can't do it, then, and maybe I'm at home and I'm watching videos, to learn. Well, that's 100% effort on improving because I'm watching videos even though I physically can't do it. Or if I'm running my last 400-meter run and I'm tired and I can't even run anymore, I have to walk. If walking is my 100%, if that's my best available effort, then you want to give that 100% and go from there. So, I mean, it's very important that you always give that effort. And then what that'll do is it'll build your confidence knowing that you're putting in the effort correctly. And then when you have questions like, is this distance good enough? You're asking that question from, is it good enough because I want to be the best? I want to reassess what I'm doing on my own. So when you do ask these questions, it's very important that you do your own research. You figure out what's good in the state. What's your outcome? Do I want to be the best in the state? Do I want to be the best in the league? Who's out there? Who am I competing against? Who are the girls I got to beat? Who are the boys I got to beat? Know those marks, and then you won't even have that question of, is this good? Is this distance good enough? Because you've seen the competition. You know who they are. You know that person jumps 4 meters. All right, I'm going to bust my butt to jump 4 meters and further if that person decides to jump further when we're at a head-to-head competition. Hopefully that answers that question. The next one is, how do I fix my triple jump step phase? This question I literally get asked every single day during season. And again, the surface is, your step phase is bad. How do you fix it? You want to be able to elongate that distance, you want to get more height, more pop, and then travel that into your step phase and your jump phase and so on. Now, that's the obvious surface. But the source in that context is, if you don't have a great approach, if you don't have a great runoff in your hop, if you're not landing in a great position to get into your step phase, then your source is everything preceding it. So the focus on it is you want to work backwards. When you're watching your step phase, if you don't have a good step phase, you don't just fix the step phase. Fixing the step phase is like putting a band-aid on a cut. If I walk that way, and every time I walk that way, my leg gets cut. And then I get mad and I walk back and then I put a band-aid on it. Well, that's cool, but if I do it again and it keeps getting cut, I'm getting cut every single time. You need to realize, well, if I don't walk that way, I'm not going to get cut. Or maybe I should put on pants, or maybe I should just anything that'll change the cut from happening versus putting a band-aid on it. So if your step phase isn't good, don't fix the step phase. Go back and figure out what exactly is the issue. So one source, again, would be maybe it's your prep into your position. Are you in the correct positions leading into your step phase? If you are, you go back again, figure out, am I too high on my hop? Is my drop leg in position? Am I running off at the right angles? Am I trying to jump too far per actual distance? Because triple jump is based on percentages. So if you jump too far on your hop, you have no speed going into your step phase. All of these things come into play. So again, it's very important that you focus on the source. Now, when it comes to the solution, is you want to make sure your base is set. You actually want to get in general shape. Maybe your step base sucks because you're not in shape. Maybe you're just not a good athlete yet. Well, go become a good athlete. Learn all those things. Learn how to squat, learn how to lunge, do all the base first. Then get into the rest of the progressions. But the overall solution is you need to study your sport. You need to understand what you're doing. And once you understand what you're doing, then you're in a very, very good place. I'm trying to figure out, for those who are on my live, because I'm seeing like you're just trying to be a part of my live video, but I'm not sure. So, Seaver, do me a favor if you're listening still. Send a message, please. Let's see. Text message or type a message. All right. I'm going to keep going in the meantime. The last question that I always get basically falls under the umbrella of what workouts. Oh, okay, cool. What workouts do I do to get better? And I like the surface question of that basically is, I want to improve. That's basically what it says. The source is athletes just simply don't know what to do, period. The solution is do your own research. All the time, athletes are asking me, can you send me a workout to do? Like I just have a magic workout to hand you guys. And well, I feel like I kind of do, but I don't have an actual piece of paper to say, here, or here's an email, do this, do that. Every person is different. And so the focus is you need to understand the type of athlete you are. And if you're in shape, you need to know exactly where you are in life. If you just did football, then you did basketball, and you come up with track, are you in track shape? No, you're not. So you need to do things very simple. But when it comes to specific workouts and what you should do, I would recommend start with literally learning how to lunge, learning how to squat properly. Because if you're jumping, you need to make sure you're doing those things correctly. You want to make sure that you are literally watching videos on like track. You don't necessarily want to watch all the professional videos, but you want to watch all videos. There's a handful of coaches that are out there that are posting videos about workouts, how to do it. And it's very important that you guys understand that you don't just take a video that has a lot of views and think it's credible. There are so many people who are great marketers, but they're not the best coaches or trainers, and they're doing some very dangerous stuff. So what I would say is when you see a video that you actually like, and maybe the drill makes sense, you're like, I want to try that, then go and DM that coach, send a private message to that coach, or email that coach and say, hey, I have a question on this. How does that work the body? What are the benefits? What are the risks? Ask them questions. I mean, the people will answer you. I probably won't answer as quick, but what I will do is I'll make a video just like this and put that up there and be specific on answering your questions. Or I'll put a blog out that'll have your question answered. Um, but at the end of the day, there's no specific workout. The focus is when you try these workouts and exercises that you get on see online, if they fit within your calendar year, if you're doing a base training, you only want to search base training drills. If right now, if you're in spikes and you're a high schooler and you're doing jumps and spikes, you're ahead of the game, as in a negative. You're doing too much too soon. And now you're going to have joint pain and all these things just because you shouldn't be doing those things yet for high school athletes getting ready for the high school season. Now, I see all the time there are athletes that are jumping in spikes and they're doing all this stuff. I can't assume that that is wrong simply because in my calendar for the high school year, they're doing things a certain way. But you got to look at it. If they're overseas or in Australia or different countries, they're in a different part of the season. If they're college athletes, they're starting their actual season next month. So they're on a different calendar system as everyone else. So don't just look at a video and say, oh, I'm going to do that. You have to know where you are, strength-wise, timing-wise, development-wise, and then work your way into that. So I hope that answers the question. And then this, if you have any live questions, go ahead and answer those. Ask those questions, and we'll go from there. So go ahead and type those. I'm not sure if I can see the actual live chat from my YouTube. I don't even know how to pull that up. So, Seaver, do you have any questions? Let's see. All right. So in my head, I had this whole thing worked out where I was going to be live on YouTube and then use their chats and everything, but it's not really working that way. Okay. All right. So good question is from Seaver is, as a long jumper, should I also be training for sprints? Well, the answer is yes. Running is based on power output. And what that means is the harder you press the ground away, the more force you create that allows your body to move in the opposite direction, assuming the ground doesn't move. And when you're jumping, you're going to be creating a lot of force in the ground to pop off the board and get your distance from your jump. Now, there are two variables within long jump. It's speed and then also power. But the speed part is what you use to help your distance. The height is what allows the distance to travel within the jump. So you should be doing speed work. You should be doing runway work, on runway, working on speed a lot, simply because you want to be able to control the speeds. Now, let's say you go to a batting cage, right? So you're playing baseball, and they're pitching you 20 mile per hour pitches, and the balls are coming out at you, and you're able to see the ball, figure out where to spin, you're able to see the speed of it. You can swing your bat, make contact with the bat and the ball, and then the ball goes flying out for distance, right? When you speed up that actual the ball and say it goes from 20 to 40 miles per hour, your timing changes. You have to swing a little bit earlier. You're going to have less time figuring out what position the ball's going to be in in a faster process. You're gonna have to, perceive all these things sooner. And as that ball goes from 40 to 50 to 70 to 100 miles per hour, you literally have no time. Like, honestly, I went to nationals in Sacramento with Dami this past season, and I literally did batting cages. And I went to the 70, I believe it was 70 miles per hour batting cage, and the light would turn on saying like, "Hey, we're gonna pitch you the ball," and then I would hear it come out, and then I just see it fly by and it hit the back of the I don't know, the wall in the back. And so I would see it light up and I would just hear this noise. So I'm like, I can't even see the ball. So I decided I'm going to just, when I see the light, just start swinging. Period. That was it. Started swinging and I just kept swinging. I kept my eyes on where the ball would be. And I started guessing correctly after like the third round of balls that came out. And I made contact with it. But I had to change my whole perspective. I had to change my whole thing. I had to say, you know what? I can't watch the ball anymore. I have to just put the bat in a certain spot, and that's it. I can't even get my arms out in front of me. I'm just going to just turn. So, long story, but what I'm trying to connect to is when you have, when you start bringing more speed down the runway, you have less time to prep, to adjust, to do all these things to make you jump far. Now, if you're sprint training and speed training, your body's getting used to the sheer speeds of running. Your body gets used to this high tempo running frequency. As you get faster and you understand how to run fast, now when you're running, let's just say 20 miles per hour on the ground and you're hitting top speeds, you're not at your maximum speed. You're actually running 20 miles per hour comfortably and you feel pretty good. So while you're at this comfortable speed of running, now I feel like this isn't as fast, so I'm actually more controlled. This speed is more controlled for me, and it feels pretty good. So now if you put that same speed on the runway, we're at a very fast, controlled speed, and then you jump. The next part is, can you handle that speed and create the amount of force that you need to jump far to get off the ground? If you can combine those two, you have a successful long jump. At the world level, guys are running 10-2, 10-3, 10-1 in the 100, and then bringing that 10-1 speed over to the runway. But you can't jump with complete flat-out sprint speed. Right now, it's highly unlikely to be able to be at a full 100% sprint and transition that into a jump. But if you're at 95% or 98% and you're running at, let's say, a 10-4 when you really run a 10-3, you're able to create the force. Now there's a big jump. So should you be training on sprints? The answer is yes. You want to get your speed down, your force production down. I really feel that there's a direct correlation between the 400-meter run and the long jump, simply because the soleus is stronger when it comes to duration and endurance. I feel that if the force production is there, it's more time under tension to run for 40, 50 seconds than just 10, than 100 meters. So it's important to kind of mix it up. I wouldn't say you only do flying 30s or only runway work. You should be getting around the track as a jumper. Some coaches only say 150 max. I say run 300s. I say 300s will be probably the best bet. That's just my opinion on it. I know that was a long-winded answer, Seaver. But with that being said, hopefully that answered it. If you have any further questions, let me know. So I know I talk a lot, and that's what I think. If we have any other questions, I'll answer two more. And if you're on my YouTube right now, you're welcome, Seaver. If you're on my YouTube right now asking questions, I apologize. Maybe if you're trying to contact me, because I can't see the screen. It was unlisted this whole time. So nobody saw this because it's unlisted. I should have put it private. Oh, I'll make it public now. Okay, so the next question is, what's a way to become more comfortable when taking off the board? Now, there's two different sports. There's taking off the board for triple jump and then for long jump. Um, at the end of the day, it comes down to simply reps. You have to literally just practice it all the time. I talked to Coach Jeremy Fisher over at the Olympic Training Center, and he said with Will Clay, he pretty much solely works on his approach and hop phase. Um, that's pretty much it, and that makes complete sense. The reason for it is because the triple jump is essentially just two jumps. You bring your speed, you pop off the board, and you're in position to jump. Then it's just two bounds. That's literally it. You get to your hop, then it's literally two bounds. And how much speed can you bring into those two bounds, and how much distance can you get out of those two bounds to equate your total distance? Now, for the triple jump specific, being comfortable on the board is understanding your angles and um, you know, understanding your angles, but more importantly, it's your position at the actual board. Many times, athletes are doing this run and they swing their arms, they pump up, and they do all this stuff. Well, jumping up off the board doesn't transfer speed correctly. And the issue is you jump too high, then you come crashing down. If you were to literally like live the life of your leg when you um, say if you were to like leave this body and go into the leg, become the left leg of a jumper in the triple jump, you would be telling them so many things like, bruh, I need you to not land so hard on me because I only can lift X amount of pounds and you're asking me to lift 3 times that amount. I can't do it. Don't you see when I land, I can't even get out of it? I'm just collapsing. So you need to be careful on understanding your angles. That's why I have the hop touch drill that I use all the time. The hurdle's only 6 inches off the ground, and it's halfway distance from your board to the total distance you want to jump. So if you want to jump 45 feet, what do you want to? That means you want to jump, let's just say 15 feet for each phase, and you want to be able to cover 7.5 feet on your first half of your actual hop. You want the hurdle 6 inches off the ground from that point. And just work on your approaches. And you run off the board, you pop up and find that position, touch the hurdle. You keep doing that over and over and over again. Just work on that drop leg touching, because what that does, it keeps you honest and keeps you in position. It also slows down your rotation speeds. But that's going to help you get comfortable on the board. It's literally bringing new speeds, popping up the board. If you're more of a professional athlete or at a higher end, you're going to work on steering. If you're not, you're going to work on maybe the last 6 steps and bringing your position to getting your feet down. A lot of times, athletes bring a basketball approach into the triple jump, and it doesn't work. It's not the same sport. So getting comfortable with the actual long jump, same concept is finding your position, being upright. In sprints, there's a time where you're working on getting faster and accelerating. But in the jumps, you want to let your speed develop, and then you want to settle. You actually want to settle in position and let inertia do its thing. It's going to bring up more actual speed. And when that starts coming into play, you're going to jump. You can't just go from a downhill sprint and try to pop up and get your jump. It needs a transition, and that transition is developed in the last 6 steps. So the way to become more comfortable off the board is A, to have your speed down. Be comfortable with the speed you're bringing in. B is watch your actual jumps, your takeoffs all the time. C would be continue to always work on your positions. So like every practice, my athletes literally do drills that help their hop. We always do the progressions. We always do the same type of base work. So then when we get to competition, they understand it, and there's no issues that we have with the movements because they do it all the time. So just like how you are when you're comfortable with your friends and family, you're around them all the time. You just know that. You don't really care what they think because you're like, you're my family. I know who you are. Well, become family with the long jump. Become family with the board. Become family with the triple jump. Understanding where you should be and literally have these conversations of what can I do to get better and improve. Good question. Um, I have time for two more questions. For those who are on my YouTube, I just finally went public. So I think it made the announcement. So you just missed a great. Uh, you're welcome. I see your question, Oscar. If you guys join the live now, I want you to go back. I think you can go back in the time and see what I was talking about, and then just kind of watch it delayed. That might be the best option for you. If you have questions on my YouTube, do me a favor and just send me an email to info@KeinanBriggs.com. The reason for it, because I can't see if I'm getting messages on that. So just shoot me an email. All right, so Oscar asked a question, and the question is, what does, wait, there you go. What does the hitch kick do exactly? Nothing. You don't jump further from the hitch kick. You don't jump further from the hang. You don't jump further from the glide. You don't jump further for anything. Not like the things you do in the air don't affect your actual travel. It's nothing at all. Now, if you really want to get very specific, if you lift your legs up before you land, that's in the air, and technically, it helps your landing because it gets your feet away from the pit. So I guess that would be specific. But doing a hitch kick or doing the glide or the hang, you're not going to get any further away in your jumps. However, when I coach, what I'm looking at is athletes naturally aren't used to running fast and throwing their body as far as they can. It's not natural. Like our body likes to be controlled in a safe environment. Our purpose is to keep this vessel safe as possible. If I just run and just jump blindly and throw my body into this space, my body kind of freaks out. If you watch new jumpers, they're just like, ugh, so they don't want to just do that. But I try to get the athletes comfortable with actually jumping and traveling and throwing their body at certain speeds as far as they can. And so the thing that made the most sense to me as a coach was the hitch kick. And what the hitch kick does is basically you're running, you take your jump, and you continue running in the air, right? So when I watch people do the hang, they run, and the second they hit the board, they're doing all this back bend stuff, and their chest is out. They're giving up their core. They're just doing all this weird stuff. And so when they hit the board, I look at, are they transferring their actual speeds into their jump? And if they break at the board, as in break their speed or break their posture, they're just losing potential energy. And that's what's helping their jump go further. So if it's gone, then it's just like you lost everything. And I can see that you're capable of jumping 23 feet, but you're only actually hitting 20. So when I implemented the hitch kick to the athletes, I didn't teach it before as I didn't make it like a rule. Every kid learns the hitch kick in my program. So if you're a part of Leap Squad, you're learning how to do the hitch kick first. Is it the best way or the only way? No, it's not. I don't know. But I do know that every athlete from all ages have been improving. So to answer your question specifically, what the hitch kick does in my mind is it helps an athlete keep their speeds better through their jump. It helps them stay in the posture the whole time because they jump and they continue running and then they land from there. So there are two versions. There's a 2.5 hitch kick and a 1.5 hitch kick. The 1.5 most athletes are going to do. If you're jumping 22 feet or higher, 2.5 becomes a possibility. But typically 1.5 is fine. If you get to 22 feet, you might end up doing a glide. What a glide is, you do basically a 1.5, and then you hold and hang in your position, and then you land. It's more of a hitch and a hang together. That's what I would tell my athletes to do next. But the focus of the actual hitch kick is to allow the athlete to continue running the whole time. If you can project or push yourself in position the correct way and do the hang, keep it simple. I would say, but whatever you do choose to do, whether it's a hang, hitch, or glide, stick with it. If it's new, just say, this season I'm doing this. If you change your actual technique every season, it's going to be a problem because you simply aren't going to have, your body won't adapt to it. For example, I have athletes been doing hitch kick now for 3 years. We had 1 year that was just bad. They just didn't get it. They're not allowing things to happen. Especially Dami. She jumped 7 or 18 feet as an 8th grader, and they never got to 18 again until her junior year. But her freshman year, she kind of just did her thing. I let her just do what she did because I had other athletes I was developing. Dami's sophomore year, I taught her the actual hitch kick. She got it better. She improved to 17 high again, and then junior year she went 19. So it's just being patient and trusting in the process. So I would say that no, there is no set way, Oscar, of the hitch kick. What does it do? It's a way to allow you to keep your speeds through your jump, and that's it. But there's no wrong or right with the long jump. It's just about making sure that you allow all your speeds to continue through your jump. All right, and I think I have time for one more question. It is for jumps in general, what strength work is better, ab strength or upper body strength? Well, I would say the value would come from your core strength, because your upper body strength is all connected to your core strength. If your core is strong and you're stable, then you're able to produce more force, whether it's squats, lunges, whether it's bench press, pull-ups. When you have a strong core, you're more stable. Imagine simply trying to do bench press on the big Swiss ball with dumbbells. You're going to be able to lift a lot of weight, but it's going to be a lot less than doing that on a actual bench press with a bar. So your core is more important, and you can have a strong upper body, but the upper body is going to also start training and developing the core. So if you focus on the core first, make that your primary base, then you're set. And a lot of people don't realize that abs are in the front. In my mind, they're just in the front. Use your abs, your six-pack, right? But your whole core is this whole trunk from your groin up to your torso, and that whole space needs to be strong and stable. I didn't understand the capabilities of the human body, of how strong the core can get, until I saw guys from Park City, Utah, and they were training at the Utah Training Center, and they're mainly like downhill skiers and slope skiers, all that stuff. They have some of the strongest cores, to where they were standing on the big Swiss ball, with 2 feet, and they're balancing, staying there for 30 minutes, 20 minutes at a time. And they're doing all these stabilization drills. It's because when they're more stable, they're more productive. And of course, they did all the extra strength training, but the fact they were able to stand on a Bosu ball and stand on these balls with 1 foot or 2 feet and do all these exercises, it's crazy seeing that. And also, when I saw these guys who were able to hold a bridge or hold a plank for 8 hours, or look online. There's a bunch of videos of people doing this strength, but once you have that strength set, then you have so much more potential energy to create because your base is set. And when that base is set, even when it comes down to triple jump or long jump, when your foot makes contact on the ground and you're stable and your alignment is right, when you push back into the ground, you don't lose any energy. So if your knees are valgus, if your ankles are not flexible, if your hips are not flexible, you're literally losing feet within your triple jump. You're losing, you know, feet within your long jump. So your core strength is the most important. The very next important is your upper body, because when your arms and your back is stronger, every time you exchange your arms to run, you are dictating and telling your legs what to do. So it's very important to have a strong lower body and also a strong upper body. The reasons for it is because everything works together, but the base of everything is basically being stable. If you're stable, you're all set. I'll have time for one more question, but while that question is being, I guess, devised, I do want to say, A-line, I bought these a long time ago, and these are A-line insoles, all right? They don't look like the rest of the other ones. You see they're clear. They actually bend. If you were to press on these, you can see that they compress a little bit. These are insoles, and so when I coach, I'm looking for alignment and stability, and that's what basically these kind of teach. These insoles go in your shoes. They're not specifically designed for training, but they're more designed for everyday movement. So you put these in your shoes, take out your regular insoles, and just walk around in them. And what they do is when you land, they actually give and move. It's a harder plastic, but they move around a little bit. And what it does is it actually puts your foot in the correct alignment for your body. I had an issue with my left knee. It wasn't stable. I would squat correctly. My knee would bow in whenever I would squat in that single leg, and I'm a left, right triple jumper. And you know, the company came over to Athletic Republic where I was working, and they did this like test where they had the laser beam that lined up and lined up on your knee, and I was able to see that my knee would go in about an inch further than normal. Like it was pretty far. So to correct it, not a whole inch, I think it was like half an inch. But I was able to adjust it by wearing these. All I did was wear these and lift weights. That was it. And because my foot was in a better position, before I was here and then changed it here, because it was in a better position, the muscles all strengthened the correct angles. And then I guess it was maybe 3 or 4 months later, I tried them back on, or I did my test again, and that inch or half inch displacement was actually fixed. I would say for athletes who have any type of alignment issues, these are an option. If you go to align.com and use the promo code, I guess Keinan, my name, Keinan, you will receive something. So I bought another pair this year because I needed them. I felt like my alignment was off. And when you take these off, you'll feel your foot is different. Like it feels like it wants to stay in that correct position. So I would say these are a good option. align.com/active. All right. Seaver asked which spikes would I recommend for long jump. Go to my YouTube, type that question. I actually have 2 videos on which spikes you should use for your events and which spikes are the best. All right, you guys. I'm tired. That was a long time of talking. If you want to rewatch this video, I'll post this on my YouTube channel. And oh yeah, if you are in the Orange County area or LA area or in California, the weekend of January 13th, I am hosting a jumps only track meet. It's not only for track and field athletes, it's for anyone who wants to try the long jump, triple jump, or high jump. I'll probably only offer the long jump for athletes who are new, but it's for all ages. It's the second annual Leap Fest. The Leap Fest is a jumps only track meet, all ages. Last year, I had about 50 kids that came. It was really fun. This year, I have Max Preps coming. They're going to be doing some of the commentating. I'm going to have it live streamed. I also have, a lot of the high school top jumpers in the state coming. I have a team that's in the works of coming from Washington, the Flying AJs, and they have a couple athletes who are ranked in the nation. I have athletes coming from Las Vegas. I have athletes potentially coming. We'll see. I'm trying to confirm these from the Olympic Training Center. Just kind of be there and see what's going on. But it's a huge event because it's exciting because I literally have the stands right next to the runway. It's just the jumps. You're literally enclosed in this space where it's two runways. We have two high jump pits. It's jumps only. I have some professionals that are going to be coming. Ryan Sanders from Next Phase Athletics will be competing. Other teams. If you're not a part of a team, just come. If you're playing basketball at that time, come watch. Come support it. Come see it. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to showcase the talent that we have in the jumps, but also I'm trying to showcase how a jumps event is supposed to be ran. And the coverage on the jumps is, I feel, horrible. They can do way better. You can't recap the high jump. You have to literally show the actual box scores and how the athletes missed and made events or missed and made heights. There's so much happening, especially when you're watching the long jump. You can't appreciate the long jump when you watch it from straight forward. You can't. It's bad. So what I'm doing is I want to have a more interactive flow and try it, and hopefully the major companies will pick up the type of flow that needs to happen and have fun from there. So if you're in the area, please check it out. You want to go to my Facebook page, Keinan Briggs, the actual public page, not my private page, but the public page, and on there it will have the event. All the information will be listed there. As I get more people joining or more teams joining, I will put information on that page. And I think it's coming up probably next week where I'll have the actual event page. You can actually start signing up. But I'm looking on getting sponsors. So if you want to sponsor the event, let me know at info@KeinanBriggs.com. And yeah. All right. So guys, thanks for watching. Sorry I was late. I think I was late like 10 minutes. But I will see you guys next time.